You were just a turd out there.
Well, Texans fans, that wasn't what we wanted to see. Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, presented by Bolen Media, with new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday. But because the Texans played Monday evening football, we've got an extra episode this week. I am Ross Bolen, and I am going to start by saying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not a bad football team. The Bucs have won the NFC South 4 seasons in a row. They are a playoff team, and you'll remember they barely lost to the Washington Commanders in the wild card round last season, 23-20 final score. I'm not saying this to make us feel better or to make excuses, but it is important context for judging this Houston Texans team through week 2. So the Texans lost a close game to the Rams week 1, 14-9, and lost a close game to the Buccaneers week 2, 20-19, to start the season at 0-2. Obviously not what we wanted. Obviously not ideal. Obviously not good. But how concerned should we be as fans? Let's start with C.J. Stroud's performance. Stroud finished with just 13 completions on 24 attempts, completing 54.2% of his passes for 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He took 3 sacks, again, just like week 1. And just like in week 1, he gave up a lot more yardage in those sacks than was necessary. He's still not moving comfortably in the pocket. He's still refusing to step up when the pocket starts to collapse. He's always moving backward, and much of the time, the routes our receivers are running are either not getting them open or not developing quickly enough for CJ to find them, or both. Some of that is on the new offensive coordinator, Caley. Some of that is on the receivers, and some of that is on C.J. Stroud himself. But here is what concerns me the most about C.J. Stroud at this point. He just doesn't look like he's having fun playing football anymore. There's no energy. There's no spark. There's no passion. He looks uncomfortable. He looks frustrated. And at times, he looks lost, like he doesn't know what the hell to do differently. His demeanor and body language have changed drastically since his rookie season. During his rookie season, we saw how many unbelievable plays with CJ narrowly avoiding a sack and scrambling out of the pocket to find Nico Collins or Tank Dell 30-plus yards downfield and pulling off seemingly impossible throws for big gains. That shit is simply not happening anymore. It's just not happening anymore. In the media, since the game ended, head coach DeMeco Ryans seemed to express some backhanded disappointment in CJ's performance, which is weird, but I get the feeling nobody within the Texans organization knows exactly where to point the finger right now, and they're flailing a bit. DeMeco can't exactly throw his new offensive coordinator under the bus 2 games into his tenure, and I think he's within his rights to be disappointed in the way CJ has performed the first 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, it's concerning to see this sort of messaging from DeMeco Ryans, who frankly should be taking all of the blame himself. This is his team. It's his ship. If the ship keeps hitting the rocks, the buck stops with the captain who's steering the ship, right? Am I wrong? So me personally, I'm worried about C.J. Stroud. I'm worried that the continued issues with the offensive line for a 3rd consecutive season have broken his brain. I'm worried that he's losing his love of the game as a result. I'm worried that his development has stalled out due to poor coaching. But I certainly don't place the blame for where this team is on C.J. Stroud's shoulders. I think it's difficult for us to appreciate how good C.J. Stroud is at his job because we're unhappy with the results the team is getting currently, and we can't imagine what it would be like to have a less talented quarterback when odds are, if that was the case, we'd be getting blown the fuck out every week. So I think C.J. is actually, in his own way, keeping us in these games. But it's just difficult to look at it that way. We are still seeing a lot of the same issues with this offense that we saw week 1. The same issues that we saw all last season, especially on 3rd down, where the Texans have converted 4 of 18 attempts on 3rd down. 2 for 9 on 3rd down conversions week 1. 2 for 9 on 3rd down conversions week 2. For comparison's sake, the Rams were 7 for 13 on 3rd down conversions week 1. The Buccaneers were 6 for 14 on 3rd down conversions week 2. We are simply getting crushed on third down, and it's largely due to self-inflicted wounds. Penalties putting us at third and long, bad play calls on third down, giving up sacks on third down. The offense fucking sucks right now. It has sucked both games, and that's the hard truth. Week 2, the offensive performance hurt even more because we came out of the gate with a great opening drive, which ended in a 29-yard touchdown pass to Nico Collins. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, maybe Nick Caley is settling in. Maybe the team made progress during practice this week. Maybe they're finally feeling the flow of the new offense. But no, that was far and away the best offensive drive of the game. And we failed to capture that kind of momentum again at any point moving forward. Nick Caley's offense through 2 games has looked a concerning amount like Bobby Slowick's offense when it was at its worst. Very few quick passing plays to pick up chunk yardage, get CJ in a rhythm, no slants, no quick outs, too many long developing routes, regularly allowing the offense to get into third and long situations, very little ability to establish the run game. The offensive line is still struggling. Nico Collins was targeted more in Game 2, but still only had 3 receptions for 52 yards. We're not seeing a lot of Jaden Higgins, so I'm not sure why the fuck we drafted him. CJ's pocket awareness still leaves a lot to be desired. All around bad. Not a lot to be happy or excited about offensively, just generally concerning. Speaking of which, Dare Ogunbowale needs to be off the field. I have no idea why he's still out there. He can't run. He can't block. Woody Marks looked significantly more capable of blocking effectively. No idea what the fuck is going on there. Ogunbowale cannot play if he cannot block. And in this Bucs game, he couldn't block a toddler. The offense sucks. 266 total yards, 182 through the air, 84 on the ground. Just isn't going to get it done against good teams. And we only ran 46 plays compared to the Bucs 72. We only had 12 first downs compared to the Bucs 25. If not for special teams, for a big return and a blocked punt, this game wouldn't even have been nearly as close as it seemed to be. And that is very sad. Here are the worst red zone performers in the NFL through week 2. The Giants are 1 for 7 in the red zone. The Raiders are 1 for 7 in the red zone, and the Texans are, wait for it, 0 for 3. Not good, Nick. And there was one offensive sequence in this game that stands out as the backbreaker, when the Texans had 3 chances to score from the fucking 1-yard line and came away with nothing. Zip, zilch, nada. It was 1st and goal at the 8. Nico Collins got stopped a yard short of the end zone on a first down catch. Then Nick Chubb got stuffed. Then CJ threw back-to-back incompletions aimed at Nico Collins. We turned the ball over on downs on the 1-yard line. That stands out as probably the biggest backbreaker of this game. Also, the 2-point conversion late in the 4th where Stroud got sacked was the most predictable shit I have ever seen. So the offense just stinks. It stinks. We cleaned up the penalties a little bit, just 6 penalties for 45 yards in this game, but we still had a few flags at the worst possible time, stalling out or altogether killing drives. So I would still say discipline seems to be one of the biggest issues with this team. And at the end of the day, that is obviously on the coaching staff. Speaking of discipline, tackling on defense, what the fuck? What the hell was that? How many plays did you see where it took 2, 3, 4 different guys to try and bring down the running back or receiver? Texans defenders not wrapping up, not finishing their tackles, not making sure the dude is down. Just abysmal tackling most of the game. Terrible, inexcusable, dog shit. 4 sacks were nice, but no turnovers. Should have had at least one, with the one interception that was dropped. And after the Texans scored late in the 4th to take the lead, the defense let Baker Mayfield and the Bucs offense march right down the field to win the game with minimal resistance. And I knew that shit was going to happen too. We all did. I'm sure many of you noticed as soon as we scored that there were still over 2 minutes left on the clock, and I was like, oh, fuck. We left too much time. And that's something that, you expect to say against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, Allen on the Bills. But Baker Mayfield, I find myself saying we left too much time on the clock against Baker Mayfield. It's not Josh Allen. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Joe Burrow or whatever. I guess you probably don't say that much with Burrow because the Bengals are kind of a mess off and on. But the point is, I shouldn't be thinking that with Baker Mayfield as the opposing quarterback and the Bucs. And again, no disrespect to the Bucs, not a bad team. 4 straight division titles or whatever, a playoff team. But it's pathetic. We're supposed to be a team with a defensive identity. We have a defensive-minded head coach, a former NFL linebacker as our head coach, a guy we all know and love in D'Amico Ryans. Swarm. Where was the fucking swarm? I thought we were swarming. There was no swarm. They marched right down the field for the win. So again, it's 2-0 teams that the Texans have lost to. 2 playoff teams in the Rams and Buccaneers. But 3 years into the D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud era of Houston Texans football, shouldn't we be raising the bar, not lowering it? This is why I think we should all be worried about this Texans team. Despite what the players or the front office is saying in the media, this team is getting worse, not better. The new offensive coordinator has been an absolute bust so far. Nick Caley has been a bust through 2 weeks. Piss poor play calling. We are on the verge of wasting our franchise quarterback's rookie contract while watching him lose all of his swagger due to poor protection and coaching. The only thing to really feel good about through 2 games is probably special teams. We're on year 3 of this new era, and the offense and the offensive line is still mediocre at best. Our star running back is nowhere to be seen. Nobody knows where the fuck Joe Mixon is. And our defense, which is supposed to be the backbone of this team, can't get off the field because we can't sustain any offensive drives. You put all that together, it's not a pretty picture. Week 3, we have a short week of practice because we played Monday Evening Football. We play the division rival Jaguars in Florida on Sunday at noon, and Jacksonville is currently favored by 1 to win that game. An 0-3 start would be a devastating blow to this Texans team's chances of making the playoffs this season, especially considering the Indianapolis Colts are 2-0 and are favored to beat the Titans on Sunday. So they're probably going to be 3-0. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I still wouldn't be surprised if this Texans team wins enough games to make the playoffs. There are 15 games left, a lot of football left to be played, a lot of talent on the roster. But the problem is, you'd have to be insane to expect anything from this current iteration of the team but a wild card loss or a divisional round blowout at best. And as I said last week after game 1, and as I said at different points last season, you need to see progress. You need to see momentum. You need to see growth. You need to see not only the coaching staff, but also the players figuring it out week by week, figuring out what works for them. Where are their strengths? What should we rely on in 3rd and short or 3rd and medium or 3rd and long situations? How do we avoid 3rd down altogether? How do we get into the red zone more often? How do we sustain lengthier offensive drives? As far as offense goes, those are all big questions. How do we get Nico Collins open? Is there anyone else on the offense in terms of receivers that is capable of getting open and taking some of the pressure off of Nico? Can we get a little more out of Nick Chubb? Can the running game pick up? It was nice to see that 25-yard or whatever it was touchdown he broke off, but that was kind of it. There's not a lot of holes for him to run through. The blocking as far as running goes is still not great. The blocking as far as protecting CJ Stroud and keeping pressure away from him goes is still not great. The offense just leaves a lot to be desired. It does. I haven't seen anyone say anything positive about the offense. Nationally, locally, on Twitter, on Instagram, it's just nobody. What can you say? What can you say at this point? We got what? 2 touchdowns through 2 games? Not a lot to be excited about offensively. And you feel for CJ and the boys. You do. But it is what it is at this point. Mediocre at best. And the defense, it's not as good as everyone wants us to believe it is. It's not, and it hasn't been. Statistically, which I don't have in front of me, so I'm not going to reference it, but statistically, I'm not going to reference it specifically, but statistically, our defense is not among the best in the NFL. It wasn't among the best in the NFL last season. It's certainly not among the best in the NFL this season so far. They still make too many mistakes. They're not turning the ball over as much as you would like to see. Considering the strength of the defensive line, especially on the ends, you would expect to see more pressure on the quarterback than you're probably seeing through 2 weeks. Again, You let Baker Mayfield walk down the field for a game-winning touchdown drive, running a 2-minute drill when you desperately need a win week 2. And that tells you everything you need to know about this defense. There is no swarm right now. No matter how many times you say it or hashtag it, it doesn't fucking exist currently. So we need to see some big changes. And I don't expect it all to happen in 1 week. But, somewhere around week 5, by then, we'll know exactly what this team is made of. And it's completely on them and the coaching staff to find a way to turn things around and prove that they are better than they have looked through these first 2 games. Because through these first 2 games, they have not been impressive. Really, in any way. Maybe special teams. But that's not going to win you football games. And what the fuck happened to defense wins football? Defense wins championships. Is that even true anymore? Is that just an old saying we need to retire? How the hell does defense win you championships if you can't put points on the board? That rattled around in my head a lot during this game because I'm sitting there thinking all right, we're not bad defensively. We might be good. It's hard to tell because, like I said, the defense can't get off the fucking field because the offense can't sustain any drives. Oh, man. Frustrating. Really, really frustrating. Thankfully, the Astros have won 2 in a row against the Rangers, or I would be depressed right now. That will do it for today's show. Remember, we have new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday on youtube.com/@bangingthecan and on all of the podcast platforms. If you are watching on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on notifications, leave me a comment down below to tell me what you saw in this Texans game that either concerned you, or if you've got something that encouraged you, please share that with us. We could all use a little positivity. Do all those things. It helps us grow the show. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications so you know immediately when we drop a new episode, and leave us a comment as well. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Write a few sentences in the form of a review about why you like our show. On that note, please share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family. Tell your Texans friends and your Texans family about Banging the Can. I like doing this. I'd like to continue doing it, and I can't do that without your help spreading the show via word of mouth. Follow us on social media. That's another way you can help us out. @BangingTheCan on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads. A lot of the time on Twitter, @BangingTheCan. I'll do some live tweeting during the Texans games and during Astros games. That'll also be the case during Rockets games once the NBA season starts up. As far as TikTok and Instagram and Threads, you'll see me post when we have a new episode out. You'll see me post clips from episodes as well. Follow us on social media @BangingTheCan. I'm Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, the 2 places I am most active, @WRBOLEN, @WRBolen. I'll be back Friday to discuss the results of the Astros-Rangers series, where the silver boot will be decided tonight. Huge game for the Astros tonight. Tune in for that. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.